Welcome to the Seabin Podcast, a show where artists and musicians with an axe to grind throw things deep into the abyss of the Seabin. Transphobia, racism, ableism, anti-Semitism, sexism, and homophobia, it all gets dumped on the trash! How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the motherfucking Seabin Podcast. It's me, everyone's favourite, big, voluptuous, delicious daddy, the Right Reverend of the Pentecostal Church of the Seabin. Bigfoot's big, tasty piece on the side. It's me, it's Big Tasty. And yeah, I know, before you start beating me up and throwing tomatoes at me and hitting me with pitchforks or whatever you angry mobs do, I know it's been a while. It's been like a couple months since I've done a bin. It's that time of year where I've just got gigs and gigs and gigs and work. And also, my brain's been a bit of a dickhead, but like I've been starting to go to therapy. Like I'm making changes to like become a better person. I know this is a bit of a heavy intro to a silly little podcast, but I don't want you to think I'm just like, fuck these guys, I don't want to have to make episodes of them. I'm just trying to work on myself. So that's the reason why I haven't really been around. But I know you understand, and I put a thing on the Patreon saying, hey, I'm sorry I've been missing, and everyone's been really, really lovely. So just wanted to say I missed you, and I'm back, baby. Yahoo! Right, and this week I am joined by possibly the most hardest working person in Plymouth, by my judge of the imagination. You might know her from bands such as Creepcave and Dredge, her solo work, as well as promoting with Deart Promotions as part of the We Are Here festival, and also All Plus Festival. It's Alex Lucy. How you doing? Oh, and also she's my girlfriend. Tee. How you doing? How you doing, Alex?
Not biased at all. Sorry to everyone.
The most hardest working, most beautiful, most incredible person in the world.
I just want to clarify that I don't think I'm the most hard-working person in Plymouth. People are gonna get pitchforks.
Yeah, they're gonna be like Seabin Nepo episode.
Yeah, Neposode.
Yeah, the Neposode. That's not a bad as title for the episode. Straight off the gate.
Oh fucking hell, Simon! Thanks for that intro.
It's all right. So yeah. How you been?
Yeah, I've been good. No, I've been fucking really ill.
You've been poorly. Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you even try to pretend like everything's fine.
But I'm good. I can't hear out of the ear that for some reason I'm sitting with pointing at you. Yeah. It's not very helpful.
So if you sound like, huh? Where's he? Did I know it's just because, should I get you one of those little trumpets?
Yeah, get me an ear horn.
Yeah.
Talk in my good ear.
Talk in my nice good ear, boy. So you got COVID and then...
That was a few weeks ago. I got COVID, yeah, and then I got some other heinous virus.
Some other horrible tuberculosis or something.
It was fucking grim.
Some Victorian... You got a case of...
Yeah.
There was ghosts in my bones.
It felt pretty Victorian.
Yeah. Do you have to put leeches on you?
Yeah.
Do you think a vegan could use leeches in medical? Because technically they're like feeding off you, right?
Yeah, I suppose as long as you don't eat them after, maybe.
No.
I don't know.
Oh, God, that reminds me. Do you know that, sorry, a tangent, you know that celebrity chef Heston Blumenthal?
Yeah.
He did a series on Channel 4 ages ago, his like Heston's Feasts, where he'd do like a themed feast, and he did a horror themed feast, and he wanted to make a dish that like was, evoked the images of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
So he went to Transylvania to see how they made like blood sausage, and he had this idea of what if you stuck a leech on a goose.
Sorry.
And then filled it with goose blood, and then like cooked the leech. And as you can imagine, it wasn't a very successful.
I mean, that guy is out there. He's the one that did the floating dessert and like the bougie pot noodle and
Yeah.
But I mean, even for him, leeching a goose, I'm not sure that's the one really.
Yeah. Recently came out as saying he has bipolar disorder.
Oh.
So that was very brave of him.
I was going to say cool. That's not what I mean. But
yeah, but you know, it's
cool to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also like ruined Little Chef though.
Did he?
Well,
Was it ever good?
Yeah. I remember, like, stuffing on Little Chefs in a way. That's mine and Dave from Rash Decisions code word for if a gig has no one at it. So, oh, mate, it was like Little Chef. Like, no fucker there.
Because there's never anyone there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. But you thought it was good?
I liked Little Chef when I was a kid. It was like a special event.
What did he do to ruin it?
Well, it was already ruined because no one came, but he went there and changed the menu to be like this kind of nicer thing. But no one was stopping at Little Chef already, and their food had already cost about $2 and a toffee apple.
Yeah.
So
you're not stopping at the side of the road to have a gourmet meal, really, are you?
No. You're grabbing a BK and you're fucking hitting the road.
Yeah. Some of this is ringing bells.
Yeah. Ringing bells. So what's been going on with you musically?
Well, I was well enough to go to band practice this week, which was good. But yeah, so Creepcave have been writing.
Yeah.
A little bit, and we've got some stuff coming up, but I'll tell you about shows and that later. I have been writing loads for my solo project, so I just go under the name Alex Lucy. That's my first name and my middle name. I've been doing quite a lot of shows like over the year. I've got one coming up next Saturday, which will probably, I'm not sure if this will come out before then, but I've got one on the 23rd of November at the Nowhere Inn, the lovely Nowhere in Plymouth, with Leonard and the Zombies, so supporting them, and Leah May as well. So that's under my Deart Promotions organisation. And I'm recording an album in January with lovely Unity Moon or Sammy Hannah from Jolly Roger. So she's helping me record my album. So that's really cool.
Busy.
And, yeah, very busy. And also I've got a new band that I've just started with my lovely, very, very, very good friend Max called Dredge, which is like a sludgy doom project. So yeah, that's been really fun to get my teeth into.
I can relate to that, like doing one thing for a bit and then just being like, oh, you know what, I need to just make the heaviest thing I can.
Yeah. Well, I've wanted to make like metal for a while, but like something really heavy and really just filthy, like bass, filthy drums, splashy cymbals, but like doom, sludge kind of music is like that's like the chef's kiss for me.
Hell yeah. Right. So you brought some things into the bin.
Yes, that I carefully wrote last night.
Yeah. Do you want to... Speaking of promotion, should we go into the first one?
Okay, yeah. So the first one is... And I'm going to caveat this heavily, which is what I do with everything because I've got fucking ADHD and I can't stay on topic. But so as a promoter, I run a lot of events where I'm like the person on the door. I'm also responsible for everything else that's going on. So it's like lots going on. I'm my Deart promotion stuff. I'll be sitting on the door, and basically what I've called this is just like being treated like you're invisible.
Yeah.
On the door. Like, so I put on a lot of events at places, which to be fair are usually free entry, so that's fair. But all of my gigs in those kind of venues are donation. I very rarely actually have their donation like suggested or pay as you feel. The only time that I have events that are strictly ticketed are at venues that are, it costs me to hire them. And I might be booking bands that I've got to bring in from further away and I'm paying them a lot of money or things like that. So that's where they're more strictly. And even then I'll have pay as you feel option. But I do a lot of events at little places that are just like, I just put $5 suggested. And sometimes you're getting 4 bands for that. And they've travelled, they've put in hours of work to be there. And it's not that people, like, this is the caveat. If, like, I always say, it's absolutely optional, but it's the fact that people sometimes just completely ignore me. Yeah. So it'll be like, I literally joked, like, the other week, I was like, it's like I've got an invisibility cloak on. Or people will be like, I'm not staying. And I'll be like, oh, okay, don't worry. Because I don't want to, I want the bar to get money. Like, and there's been times where I've been like, oh, just come in, have a couple of drinks, because they just wanted to come in for a couple of drinks. They weren't staying for the bands. But it's people who are like, oh, no, I can't. So, and then go and buy 20 Jaeger bombs, or people that completely ignore me as if I don't exist. And you can tell the people that are just probably feeling a bit embarrassed because they don't have the money, and that's different. It's people that like clearly do have the money, and they just treat me like I'm completely invisible. And it's like, literally, you don't even have to give me a £5. If you give me £1, I'll be happy that you've just contributed.
Yeah. Or even just sort of said like, I'm sorry, I don't have any cash on me, or I can't really afford it right now. Is it okay if I come in? Like, I can understand, like, I definitely get that anxiety sometimes when I go to shows that's like suggested donation, because I'm like, oh God, if I pay like £3, are they going to judge me that I'm like being like a little Ebenezer Scrooge about the whole thing? Like, oh, my pennies. But I think you just at least wave and just be like, I'm sorry, I don't have anything to donate, but can I come in?
Yeah. People do that a lot, and that's fine. But this is why I caveat it, because I do understand that like sometimes you just don't, and especially if you might have like anxiety or something like that, you might not be very good at like, you might not want to acknowledge it because you're nervous, and it's like fine. But I'm talking more about the people that do have the money, because I see them go to the bar and ordered like 10 drinks, and it's like, come on, like, you're enjoying the bands like everyone else, and especially when it shows that are to showcase underrepresented musicians, like give them a bloody £1, please.
Yeah, just at least be honest.
I just think that, it's just don't ignore me completely. If you're just doing it to, like, I'm not going to rip your head off if you don't have the cash. It's totally fine. But I don't agree with, choosing to spend loads and loads and loads of money and then ignoring the people at the door. I think that's the main one.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't have it, I don't expect you to have to give me an excuse or a reason, because that's your business.
Yeah.
But just don't pretend I don't exist.
Yeah, it's like you hear. I've seen interviews of like people who are homeless, and they say like, I'd rather I wasn't ignored. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't have anything to like. If I ask you for change and there's nothing you can give me, I'd rather you just sort of say I'm sorry and like I hope you have a good day than like just pretend that they don't even exist as people.
Yeah,
like I know it's
definitely not the same thing.
It's totally different, but it is sort of the same principle. It's just like, I'm a person, I'm here. Like, you don't have to like pretend that I don't exist. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to mug you. Just like
I don't know. I might.
You mugged me. When I came to fucking Punk's picnic. And I'm like barely put a fucking toenail through the door, and you're like, "Pay here, please!" Shaking the bucket in my face, and I'm like, "I've only got a car." And you're like, "Car machine's over there."
I had to speak to one of the other people that was running, like the person that was running the door. I wasn't even running it; I was just helping because I don't know why. Just wanted to help. I also got to sit down, which was quite nice.
Yeah,
fucking old. But I spoke to them, and I was like, I just want to let you know, because basically one of my other friends came in and I jokingly, like, sort of like playfully, not rugby tackled him, but was just like, like chasing him around, like with the bucket.
Stabbed him 5 times, I saw it.
Oh, God. And I just went, because they, I don't know if they asked me, but I was like, just to let you know, I do know them. I'm not just like using really heavy tactics here. Because that Punk's picnic is very, very, like, donations. And people are very generous. And I want to caveat that as well. It is annoying when people don't acknowledge me, but at the same time, all of the shows that I've put on, like even ones that have been quite quiet, the generosity of people does make up for it regardless. Like, I had one time where a guy put in like enough tickets for 5 people, and it was just them on their own. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's really, really nice. So it's always caveated with kindness, but it just irritates me, and sometimes I just want to be like, hello, but I don't want to start being aggy and causing a problem. But it's very annoying.
Years and years ago, I used to work for a company that it was a company that dealt with other companies to like do free samples in supermarkets. So I used to have to go to Sainsbury's and like hand out free samples and stuff. And like I learned that how to sort of overcome that feeling of rejection from like every member of the public when I'm like, excuse me, sir, would you like a small cup of Ribena? And then just like whoosh, passing them up. Okay, I'm just trying to give you something for free, but okay, whatever.
Because with those ones, you don't even sell anything, do you? Really, you're just promoting it, and you don't even try and get them into a contract.
No, but I have the product there, and they're like, oh, if they like it, I'm like, oh, would you like one for your trolley?
But you just put it in the trolley. It's not like when you're being asked, oh, can I just ask you a simple question? And it's like, could you pay £7 a week or whatever?
Yeah.
You're just literally giving them some free juice or a piece of cheese on a stick.
Surprisingly, the only ones that seemed to be really popular was when I was giving out samples of Sailor Jerry's rum and Lindor chocolates. Then people were coming back with like fake moustaches on and top hats and I mean, not literally, but they were coming back being like, hello, I'm a brand new person. Perhaps could I have one for me and 3 for my wife and children?
Oh my God, you've just triggered a memory for me at Download 2000 and I want to say 5 or 6. Like really
sweet bollocks.
I used to
early days.
I haven't gone for a long time, but I used to go every year, like religiously. And I must have been like 14. Don't quote me on the maths because I'm terrible at that. But back along, they used to do really good free samples of stuff. And the first year I went, they had Strongbow. I mean, Strongbow is a bit wank, but like Strongbow, for some reason, people didn't know what Strongbow tastes like. But they were giving you like half-pint glasses of it, and there were like hundreds of these people in these huge backpacks with a vat of Strongbow on, with cups. So me and my mate, like, were just running around, like, underage drinking, like, getting wasted off all these cups. And some of them didn't give a shit. I think they were just like, whatever. Maybe they got, like, to leave their shift if they got rid of it all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember, I think might have been Download 08 or 09. It was when the first year that Monster Energy became a thing.
I remember that year. Yeah.
And so they when you'd get your giant cup of warm Tuborg, you'd get your warm cup of a pint of Monster. And
the state of the fucking toilets.
Yeah.
But didn't they had that whole like arena, didn't they? The Monster Arena and everything.
The guy, I was there with my sister and her friends, and a guy that she was there with that she, I think, barely even knew, was like an acquaintance, worked for Coca-Cola. So he came in his work van that was like full of product that he'd basically just had to give out to people because he was like worked in like the marketing of like Coca-Cola or something. So he was like giving out crates of Monster. So I'm like, 18 years old or whatever with a crate of Monster and just walking around like, this stuff tastes like shit. And like, because it was like basically because it was so warm that it was basically like hot.
A whole crate.
Yeah, and I'm pouring it into like plastic bottles that's like quarter full of Jägermeister and then just like topping it up.
Oh my God.
I felt very poorly.
A cursed Jaeger bomb.
Yeah, but now I'm older. I could appreciate a can of Monster.
I thought you were going to say I can appreciate how fucking shit it is.
No.
And then I remember that you literally drink it all the time.
Yeah, Monster is like lager. You need to have it so cold that it's nearly frozen.
Yeah, but you have the white one. And that's because when you're talking about Monster from back in the day and Download and that was the
OG black
original
can.
Yeah, but I can't drink. I'll have a dabble every now and again. It was one of yours.
Have a snifter.
But it's like it's too much. Even like weirdly, I love Jaeger bombs, but I can't sit and drink energy drink like that.
That's a little cup, isn't it? Like
I just like the peppiness of it.
Peppy.
It's so peppy. Yeah.
Right. Well, how are we going to word this? What, like just being ignored while you're on the door?
No,
because we're not mad at people who can't pay to enter.
If you can't pay and you're ignoring me, or you have anxiety or something, that's cool. Like I don't care. But it's more the people that like blatantly ignore me. I know you've seen me, and then you go straight to the bar, buy loads of drinks.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about they just walk past. I'm like, hello, because I always greet everyone.
Yeah.
And then I say to them, oh, don't worry, that's fine. Crack on. Yeah. So what are we talking about? So I would just call it people who unnecessarily ignore you on the door, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's worth a bin. So listen for the splash. In it goes. Bang. First splash in a while. Feels good. Feels wet. Feels splashy. What's your second bin?
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
Right. what is the second bin?
Bin me up.
Right. So I don't want to cause any kind of debate here. I'm a bit nervous about this one.
Well, this is what this podcast is built on debates.
So, drum breakables.
Right. Okay.
I'm not a drummer. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can technically drum, but I'm not a drummer.
You can whack a tub.
I can whack a tub with the I would say the best of them, but that's just not true. With the mediocre
with some of them.
And obviously, like I say, I book a lot of gigs with my promotions collectives that I work in, and also by myself. And then, you know, if I'm booking for my own band, and this has happened to me on a couple of occasions where people always say, bring breakables. But what annoys me is there doesn't seem to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I have looked it up. I have no musical training. I haven't been to college to do music or anything. All my musical knowledge is from a bit of lessons as a kid and learning on the go and just teaching myself. So I'm not an expert by any means, but you'll get some venues that mean when they say drum breakables, they mean that they're going to provide. So when they want you to bring breakables, they're telling you they're going to provide the shell, with no stands. So breakables to them means stands, cymbals, kick pedal, snare.
Yeah.
But then other places, and which has been the majority for me, but I know it's different for you. But the majority for me has been when they say bring breakables, they just mean cymbals and snare. They don't necessarily even mean kick pedal, but I would always, my personal thing would be that definitely a kick pedal is it's your own, that's breakable. And then obviously if you want extra cymbal stands, you would just bring those. But I think that most people would know, I've got a really extensive cymbal setup. I'm going to bring my own stands, don't assume. But so for me, it's just that kind of the lack of universal understanding of what the fuck drum breakables means. Yeah. But everyone just says drum breakables. And I've said it myself, but that's because I've thought it means one thing. It's like everyone's thinking different things. And it can cause havoc. There's been times where I've literally had to ring my lovely friend Shivy from Creepcave to be like, help! We haven't got a friggin' hi-hat stand and we haven't got this. And she's had to go and get it, or I've been searching the back of venues to see if they've got things. Yeah. Because there's been a mix-up around that. So if anything, this is a cry for help. Does anybody have the official definition of what the fuck drum breakables means? Or
maybe we need to cement in a universal code.
Yeah.
Because like I said, from my perspective, from all the years I've been playing and traveling and doing this and that and everything, drum breakables to me means all the stuff that can break. So
but anything can fucking break if you try.
Yeah, that's true. But if you had house stands and then one of those stands got snapped or bent, then that would have to be replaced. So to me, that's something that you'd have to that's something that is used a lot that would have to be replaced. So to me, breakables are cymbals, cymbal stands, hi-hat stands, snare, and then kick drums and the kick pedals.
Not the actual drum, though.
Not the drums. So the stuff that would be there provided would be the kick drum, shell, the rack tom, and the floor tom. Some places have house stands. Yeah. But I think if you were a touring musician,
I feel real professional, going bigger places.
Yeah, because when Rash play or when Mono not so much. Shannon tends to borrow stands more than anything, but she only has 2 cymbals and a hi-hat. So we try to travel light because it's only the two of us carrying stuff. But when Rash tour, when the other band are half through the set, Ed will put his cymbals on his stands ready to go, so that when they finish, we're literally carrying the stands on.
That is a lot quicker as well.
Yeah, and Sam from Helpless does the same thing.
And you also don't know about what is going to happen to your gear, because some people absolutely they'll just do whatever the fuck they want. And but I think to me, this is definitely not the proper pro if you're touring and stuff. But I'm thinking more of the more sort of smaller venues. It's no there could be a definition, but I have just noticed that the kind of culture is that most people have seem to have differing opinions of what it means, and it would just be helpful. So what I've done, like, because I'm helping run Punk's Picnic next year, Plymouth Punk's Picnic. I've created it's fucking so lame, but I've created a booking form, and we've with the advice of one of my other one of the others in the collective, we've put on about breakables on there, and then each venue is listed with what they have, like all the gear and backline and stuff, but also what we mean by breakables, just so that people don't then go like, oh, well, I didn't know, or you know, something like that, or turn up with no breakables. I mean, if you turn up with no fucking breakables, like if you turn up with no symbols, then I don't know what to tell you, to be honest.
Yeah, then you're relying on the generosity of the other bands, and it's well within their right to be like, no, I'm sorry, like I know that it means you can't play, but like I've let it out before and it's got broken. I've let my amp out loads of times before and it's been blown up, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll call this band out because they didn't mean it and they're a big band, but like JFA, like legendary skate punk band from Los Angeles, were on tour, and I let the guitarist use my Marshall, and thinking that he would know to, like, you know, not just like turn the power off or unplug it while it was still on, and he used it and then just like turned the power off and it just like blew my power tube. And it was like, oh, come on, dude, you've been in the business like 40 years. But
did they replace it?
No, they didn't. But it was an easy fix. But then I became very shy to like let my amp out. But now I just do it because it's like, whatever, fuck it. Like,
I just think, like, if you with the breakables thing, that's like kind of one issue. Like, I know I've been a bit like you know, fussy saying, you know, anything's unbreakable. But to be honest, if I broke any part of anything that was in the gear of the venue, I would fucking pay for it.
Yeah.
Like, I know, you know, I don't have a lot of money, and I'd have to probably work out a plan with them. Like, can I pay you if it's like, if I wreck something really expensive? But I would just, as a decent human, expect that's my responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, but obviously I understand why cymbals and snare and that are breakables, because they are more easily broken. But yeah, I just think, like, I've heard of horror stories of people like blowing up each other's gear, and just like not doing anything about it.
But it is a very like clear double standard, because it's probably much easier to kick through a bass drum skin than it would be to break like a ride cymbal stand.
Yeah.
But like the bass drum skin and the kick drum are like provided and not deemed to be breakable.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's one of the ones that always gets me. But I suppose it is a bit more of an arse having to bring a kick drum.
Yeah. Or like if every band had to like change skins on, it's like, that's just bullshit.
Especially when you're doing like DIY punk shows, it's like, come on, let's just fucking crack on.
Yeah, so to me, the universal code would be to bring stands where there to be house stands that could be used. But under the promise that if you snap it in half by being a fucking dickhead, like if it's accidental, then like, yeah, you'd still want to like pay to help it out. But like if you're literally picking up the stand and throwing it into the crowd because you're trying to be like Dave Grohl in 1993.
I should put that in the bin as well. Sorry. Anyway.
But like, you know, a story that sort of encapsulates this all is Rash played in Bristol, and I really, really, really want to name and shame the band, but I'm not going to because I'm, you know, whatever.
Let's not start beef.
No. But they know who they are. They're not listening. But we were playing with them, and they were on before us, and they were borrowing. They like asked to borrow everything, pretty much, apart from cymbals. So they were using Tom's snare and his like snare stand. And
why?
Just because he didn't bring it.
Why?
Because they came on the bus and they didn't want to bring it on the bus. But anyway, during the set, the drummer like stood up on the snare drum, like using the snare drum as like a plinth, and was like basically wrecking the kit. And Tom got really fucking angry and like wasn't aggressive, but was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was the house kit." It's like, why would you do that to the house kit? Why would you fucking do that to anyone's kit? It's like, you're not even playing last. Like,
I thought it was the house kit, so therefore I thought I'll destroy it and fuck off.
Yeah.
Even though I couldn't be asked to bring my own shit. I know it happens, you know. you have it when stuff happens at the last minute, and it's like, okay, I am always, especially with drums, I'm like, why the fuck can't you bring your own breakables? But sometimes shit does happen, and you're like, shit, I've got to get a fucking mega bus, and I can't do it. But to have that like lack of regard, especially when you can't bring your own shit.
Yeah.
Like, why should the venue have to just... It's not, like, disposable. The venue still needs it for the next band.
Yeah. It's, so like that, every now and then you'll just find someone like that ruins it for everyone else. But, yeah, I think having a universal code is important, and maybe it be in every single... Like you've done with your spreadsheet, that's really good. I think when you sent it to me, I told you, I was like, I wish every gig had this, because this is like...
I know, it's not very fucking punk, is it? But honestly, like, I have, like, anxiety dreams about gigs when I'm like, fuck, did I ask about, like, have they got a combo ahead or whatever? Like, and it's just literally, it's like a spreadsheet wet dream. You literally fill in this form and it downloads it into the spreadsheet, into little columns, so you can look at each band and what they've got. Like, it literally, I got so much dopamine off making that thing.
So I think the lack of there being a universal language of what it means to bring heads and breakables.
Yeah.
I think, and the confusion that surrounds it.
Yeah, just, I don't care what the definition is, just we need one that everyone, like, colloquially, I can't say that word, understands, so that we all know exactly what it means, and then I don't have to write a long sentence about it means this.
Yeah, I think that's been worthy. Listen for the splash. In it goes.
Woo!
2 for 2. Got the Twix.
Nepo, baby.
Nepo. You got the Twix. How do you feel about
that? Do they do Twix in a vegan flavour?
I think they do vegan Twix for sure. Oh, man. Right, so thanks to all the Patreon supporters. I don't have a list of your names right now, but you know who you are. And for those who, like, you know, continue to stick around even between my, like, 2-month-long sabbatical, I appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much. If you want to check out the Patreon, I'd appreciate it, but no stress, no pressure. This week's episode is sponsored by a giant bucket of wafers. I went to Lidl last night, found a huge bucket of chocolate wafers, thinking, how big is it?
A kilogram.
A kilogram of chocolate wafers, thinking, that sounds like a nice treat. Only a few quid, mind. Cheap, big bucket. And it isn't much of a sponsor because it tasted not so great. I mean, it tasted fine, but I got what I paid for sure. I definitely I had a moment of, like, post-nut clarity where I was like, oh no, I bought a kilogram of fucking wafers. But yeah, that wasn't really much of a sponsorship as it was a warning.
I mean, they're all right. There could be more chocolate.
They could. If they were chocolate covered.
I think they're one of those one-offs as well, because it was in the aisle where they have, you know, like Greek week, and they have, like, different weeks for different foods and things like that. So it probably won't be reappearing, or maybe it will, but they just need a tiny bit more chocolate in there.
Yeah, but probably good for dunking in a coffee or a tea.
I love how I was like, if there's any left, I'll have one with my coffee, and you just gave me the filthiest.
Yeah, it's like, why would I eat a kilo of fucking... Anyway, since it's been a bit of a time, I thought maybe I'd ask you some classic C-bin hypotheticals.
Cool. I'm ready.
Just to see how we feel. So I guess the first one would be, I don't know if you remember this question or not. You've probably heard all these questions.
I have listened to I think all of the C-bins, but it's been a while for me, so we'll see.
So this is an old question that was brought into the bin by a friend of the show, Cody, many moon ago. So would you rather, every time you go take poop, it's freezing cold ice cream of whatever flavour you enjoy most, or every time you take a piss, it's boiling hot tea or coffee, whichever you prefer? The most delicious ice cream or coffee you've ever had in your life. But
why would anyone choose to piss out boiling hot coffee if they can shit out ice cream?
Well, the ice cream is like the kind of ice cream that's been in the back of your freezer for like 2 years.
Yeah, but you just shit it out then. It's just like you're pooping, but flavours.
Yeah, but would you consume it?
Why would you... You didn't ask me if I'd consume it.
Well, most people just assume they're going to consume it.
Most people just do what they're told. All right. Would I consume something that's come out of my ass? Well, on a regular day, probably not. Depends what mood I'm in. I think I'd still rather eat the thing that comes out of my bum because I don't want to piss out hot coffee and ruin my...
I imagine, like, only the first few times it really hurts and then you've kind of burned off all the...
I don't think that's how these things work. I don't think you can just, like, perpetually pour boiling hot water on your flesh.
Well, it's like when you get in a really hot shower, you get in a really hot bath. At first you're like, and then you're like, oh, okay, I've settled in now.
How often do you get into a 100 degrees shower?
Well, around fucking Jimmy Diamond's house, I took a shower, they nearly burnt my fucking soul out of my skeleton.
I feel like this one is very easy. I would rather poop out ice cream.
What flavour? The silent thinking of...
I was going to say mint chocolate chip, but that might sting coming out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be like using fucking minty shower gel.
Yeah. Like rubbing... Yeah. Oh, God. Chocolate. Just keep it on theme.
Just keep it, make it look normal.
No one will ever know.
So if anyone, like... Yeah, if anyone, like... You accidentally leave, like, a skid mark or something in the toilet, so we're like... Alex, why do you have bubblegum blue fucking... I suppose, what if every...
Neapolitan skid marks.
What if every day you could reset the flavour?
I don't think that would make me feel better about having to eat my own shit, quite frankly, Simon.
It's not like I'm force-feeding it to you. It's up to you to...
You've quite made it quite clear.
But people, every time I ask people this question, they always turn it into some sort of business idea. It's like, oh, mate, I could have a little truck. But that just requires shitting non-stop. If you're busy. Which, wouldn't be much of a problem for me.
I love that people are turning it into a business idea. That is literally all I can think of is, no, I don't.
But most people will often go for the coffee piss.
Why?
Because they'll just be like, all right, well, I'm just sitting at my desk at work. I'll pull out my knob and fill up my cup and caffeination.
Would you rather scald your urethra daily, or would you rather
have a frozen arsehole?
To be fair, like, it probably will give you like some kind of freezer burn shitting, but I just feel like it still would be less bad.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's why opinions matter,
Yeah. I'm glad to help.
Yeah, you're welcome. Would you rather have 5 foot long ears or 5 foot long nipples?
Ears. Yeah.
What would you do with them?
I'll probably tie them up. Because I've got really long hair. You probably wouldn't even notice them. Yeah,
if you put it underneath the back.
Yeah, just, like, get rid of them. Because nips, they're too sensible. They're not sensible.
They're very sensible. Nips are too sensible to be that long. That wouldn't happen.
They're too sensitive, so you might get, like... They might get, imagine, like, catching it in something as you're walking along. Or shutting it in the door or something.
I would probably coil it up like a big Cumberland sausage.
Oh, you could tape it down?
Yeah.
Yeah,
coil it up and like a rattlesnake.
I still feel like that would be very sensitive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you coil your nipple into a little steak, no, I think that would hurt. But with your ears, ear lobes aren't as sensitive as the tips of your nipples, so you could just sort of like lightly tie them.
But both are erogenous zones.
But I feel like one zone is more sensitive than the other zone.
I feel that's true. I don't. When Star Wars Episode 1 came out, did you ever have one of those Jar Jar heads that had a sticky tongue inside the head?
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm imagining you get your 5 foot long nip, you put some like adhesive on the end. You could like probably.
Oh, that's a different way I was thinking of rolling it. Okay.
No, I'm thinking you could use it to like grab things from across the room.
Like a not a lizard, like a
like a chalameleon.
A scaly boy.
Yeah. Like, let's say we're sitting here and on the desk there is a piece of paperwork you really need, but you don't want to have to get up. You just like, whap! Slap the nip down like Indiana Jones's whip, and then you got it. It only, would be really painful.
Yeah, it would only be like fucking agony. Yeah, well, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for the ears.
Fair play. Yeah, that's totally fair. Excuse me. Would you rather fight a Shrek-sized goose or 10 goose-sized Shreks?
All right. This is the kind of question that fucks my head because I find it really hard to picture. So, right, Shrek-sized goose.
A goose that's the size of Shrek.
Fuck that shit. They're fucking aggressive. Me and my friend were sitting by the lake in Par, and we started getting chased by swans, and like I fucking shit myself. Like they just wouldn't leave us alone. Yeah, so little Shreks. Yeah, I just like kick them, put on my big clompers.
Have you not seen Shrek 2 when he's like climbing?
You know how I feel about these type of films.
Like, do you know what I found out? Which is actually quite. Oh, there we go. Which is quite bad. You know, there's like a giant gingerbread man in Shrek 2.
Yeah.
Do you know what that character's name is?
No.
I think it's like Mongo, which is like.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe Google it. Don't spread lies. Deceit.
I won't Google it. But I'll Google it later. But I'm pretty sure it's like the big thing's name is Mongo, which is like a bit like. But they will climb you like Mongo.
I still feel like, I suppose that you've got numbers, haven't you? But like I love birds, but fuck me, like geese and like they're quite scary.
Yeah.
Like when they want to be defensive, they're and imagine a beak bigger than your head.
You know Tom, who used to drum in Rash.
Yeah.
So he grew up on a farm, and there was a goose called Mr. Gozzy, who was like a very angry goose. And one time, Tom's mum heard a screaming because Mr. Gozzy was attacking Tom. So she whacked Mr. Gozzy with a tennis racket.
Oh, Mr. Gozzy.
But after he got whacked, he became really lovely and became like a house dog and became really protective of Tom and would follow him around and play with him and walk into the house and like sit on their sofa and would like eat from the kitchen and became like a guard goose.
What? I'm not sure I like the message we're sending out.
Yeah, smack geese and then become lice.
Yeah, just use violence to get what you want.
But I met Mr. Gozzy and he was lovely.
Oh.
Yeah.
I used to live on a farm, that's a whole other life. But we had little ducklings, and you know how they like imprint on you?
Yeah.
And they basically follow you around, and they used to follow. They kind of did it to a few different people at different times, but at one point they were like really attached to me, and I'd be like walking up and down the caravan, and they would know where I was in the caravan, so they would come and like quack outside the window. If I was going to the loo, they'd all follow and go there. If I was in the kitchen, they'd be outside the window, and they just used to like all wait at the door in the morning, just like looking at me. It's very cute.
Bless them. Shoes for poos or poos for shoes?
I was waiting for this one.
Yeah.
Oh god, the thought of having poo shoes is just gross.
This thing, like, there's no way that it's all right,
Like, no one would ever invite you round. Or you could be just barefoot all the time, but then, like, I don't want to be that guy either, because, like, you're just fucking... I know there's a whole thing about bare feet, and I total respect to that, but I think city living is just not the one for me.
Yeah,
like,
you'd be constantly getting tetanus shots and getting stuck with sharps and stuff.
I know that, well, people do it. I'd be very interested to know how they get around that kind of stuff, because obviously your feet get hardened. But, yeah, not into that. I think, like, yeah, I think I've heard you talk about, like, if it was imagine, like, my platform dock, like, coming out your bum. No. What about, like, could I get, like, back in the day, I don't know, you might not have had this issue, but, like, back in the day when I actually used to wear, like, high heels and stuff, and I was, like, in my early 20s as a student, going out, I think it was in the SU, they had this machine that divvied out like for like, I don't know, probably a tenner, like these little roll up dolly shoes.
Right.
That probably were about poo sized if you're a bit dehydrated or constipated.
Right.
And they roll up so you can put them in your handbag. So when you're like on the way home and your feet are hurting, you can just chuck on the dolly shoes. So I would poo out them over having shit shoes.
Right. What if you had to poo out like a van?
Like the original, not platform one.
Like an original van. Yeah.
Oh, it would just ruin your arse.
Yeah. But would you rather have a slack arse?
You'd be like incontinent. I reckon I'd probably go barefoot. I'll be barefoot lady. Yeah.
But no, you have to. You have to have.
See,
poo.
I have to.
You have to have poo on your shoe.
Do I want to irreparably ruin my arsehole? Or never get invited round for Christmas? I guess, I don't know, poo shoes.
I'll give you the dolly shoe. You can have the dolly shoe.
Yeah. Why are you making it so hard? That was hard mode.
Yeah, well, it's got to be hard mode. But if you want to excrete your dolly shoe, fair play. Speaking of things that are shit, shall we do bin number 3?
Yes.
Right. Hit me with it.
Right.
Well, it's good to be back. It's good to be back, folks.
So this one's a bit of a broad one, but yeah. So cashlessness. This is a very like political topic. I don't like cashlessness for all of the political reasons of having to have your money in a bank, and then having to sometimes be charged to take your own money out. Those kinds of things. Like, obviously, I'm not anti having money in a bank, but cashlessness generally is annoying. As a person who promotes, you do end up having to pay lots of different fees to Zettle and whatever, sum up whatever card machine you're using, and PayPal, it always takes a cut of your earnings. Same with businesses. So, and I'm guilty of it too. I use my phone like a magic wand. But by the way, the whole phone thing, I don't know about you, but paying with my phone ends up being more complicated than just if I got my card out. It takes me longer, which is that's a whole nother bin. But cashlessness, when it's like enforced, it's become a culture, which I'm not a fan of, but I'd probably perpetuate myself. But when it's like enforced, so sorry, we don't take cash here, I think that's fucked. Like, that's just so exclusionary. Like, and especially like, so I'm at uni as well as work, like at the moment. So I go to uni occasionally on campus, and the entire of the uni campus is cashless. And to me, that's just insane. Like, sometimes I might not have that much money, but I've got like a few quid in cash.
Yeah.
I don't really have much in my bank. And I might just want to get a coffee, but I can't because the uni doesn't take cash at all. And it's like, I'm paying you like literally, well, I don't even want to think about how much I'm paying them for the degree I'm doing at the moment. But, people are paying like up to nearly 10 grand a year, like 9 something a year. And you can't have the choice. They're forcing you into that behaviour, and I just think it's just shit, really.
I'm finding it getting harder and harder to get cash out to. One, because a lot of the banks are closing down, like the branches. But like in Falmouth, there's only ATMs right on either end of town. Yeah. So like you either have to be like on the mall where there's like 2, or by just past Trago, like the complete other end of town where there's like another 2. So you either have to, like, if you're in the middle of town, you have to walk like 5-10 minutes to get to an ATM. It's the same in Truro. If I got off the bus in Truro and I needed to get cash out before I was going to go to work because I wanted to buy lunch or something, I would have to like walk into town like 5 or 10 minutes to find an ATM. Yeah. And it's like, lack of ATMs is... Yeah, or the other ATM where you'd be like, charge you £1.99 just to like get your cash out, which is ridiculous. But Yeah.
I hate it. Actually, weirdly, like the last couple of gigs I've done, I've had like more money come through in cash, which has been interesting. I don't know if it's a pushback or some kind of weird coincidence. I know there's some venues locally that really promote paying in cash, and I just think I think it's important that it doesn't die out, and especially when it's like with the premiums that small businesses have to deal with. Bigger businesses don't give a shit because they have the money, but you know, things like being an events person, you are losing quite a bit in the end.
When Rash were in Scotland, they're really cash focused.
Oh, really?
So when we play shows there, people coming in paying with cash, and we just get a big stack of cash. So then, but the thing is, because we would then have to pay for fuel. So Dave was having to like go into the cities to like find a bank to like put the cash in at the ATM so that we could, because we get this is a little top tip for any touring band, get a Costco membership, because Costco fuel is like way cheaper. So we normally try and this trick I learned from oh my god oh god a trick I learned from someone in the industry. I did forget Brady from Conjura. He told if you travel around the Costco's, you could save loads of money on fuel because it's like higher anyway. But anyway, so we only get fuel in certain places. So we were getting paid in cash, then having to find an ATM. It was like the opposite way around to like pay it in. But then in London, where everything is cashless, we would like get paid for the show like 3 or 4 days after the gig had happened because we needed to wait for all the funds to transfer. Yeah. And it's just like, fucking hell, man, it's like so different.
I feel like it's only annoying as well to be given cash because the cash infrastructure has been decimated. Like, because there's no cash machines, because it's expected more. I think it's great that you can easily be like, oh, do you want to just send me over that $5 to contribute towards whatever? That's great. And I understand that there's like a whole level of work that goes into, you know, if you have like machines that need restocking with all the coins and things like that. Like I remember at uni, they changed it so that we had, in my first year, we had laundry like room with dryers and washers, and funnily enough, and you had to top up a card on PayPal to use the laundry machine. It was crazy. I just think, like, yeah, I understand why they have, why there is an extra element of work needed to have cash in some respects. But I think the reason it's more annoying a lot of the time to have cash is because the infrastructure has been decimated, and you can't. It is annoying because it's like people don't want you to pay them in cash, really.
Yeah. And I know it's really easy to get into the whole like political, almost like. Sometimes it can feel almost tinfoil hatness about like the cashless, like, you know, the government want you to put your money in the system because it's not really real. It's just like, you know, an idea of money, and if they wanted to, if they went into debt and all the money just disappeared, there's nothing you could do about it because it's like not even really real. It's just digital, and like, you know, so people like, you know, have piles of money under their bed because it's like only real. A lot of people are buying gold, like spending all their money on like gold bullion to save because they don't trust. And it's like, just ignoring that, it's a pain in the ass.
I just think choice is important. I know there's probably good arguments for being cashless in certain things, but choice is like really important. One time I took no one's going to give a shit about this story, but I'm going to tell you anyway. But I took the contactless off my card because I am very impulsive and I can't be trusted. But then it meant that I couldn't use it in certain situations.
Like you can't ride the bus with it or something?
I can't remember if it was bus, but I couldn't buy tickets at my local train station, which never had anyone at the frigging kiosk because they didn't man it that early in the morning. So that was always a thing. I nearly got a fine a few times because of that. You couldn't use it on an aeroplane. Not that that's like a frequent problem, but there were certain things, like I couldn't use it at pay at pump. So because of me trying to protect my income because of my impulsiveness, I wasn't able to do certain things. I think just choice is really important. And I think having things that are cashless just makes the choice.
It's even more confusing when you travel, because like when I was in Sweden, they have like, you know, like in America they have apps like Cash App or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Venmo. Sweden like have their own version of that. That's so ubiquitous that like most bars, or like, you know, when in the venues on the front, it just had a big sign that had like a handwritten code that was like the promoters. Let's say the app was called like Zop or something, like, oh, this is my Zop code. It's not called Zop, but I can't remember what it's called. But then people would come in and they just like type in the code and then pay on the app. So all the money was in this app, and you go to the bar and it would be like, here's all the stuff you ordered, pay on Zop, and it's just like, fucking hell, like I can't even download that app because I'm not in Sweden. It's a nightmare. But I definitely think that heading towards a cashless world is quite scary, because, you know, I don't like it, and I think I as much as it's annoying, because you're adjusting to this cashless society, and then you go to a bar or you go to a place that just says cash only, you're like, fuck.
Well, that's the thing, because it unfairly discriminates against people who choose to still operate that way, because then people see them as being inconvenient, but it's like they're just exercising the choice, and they might have different reasons for that.
Sorry to interrupt, like you go to a festival, and now all the money's on the wristband.
Don't get me fucking started on that.
And that's because, you know, so that all the food trucks can, like, you know, get taxed the money that they need to get deducted or whatever. So, you know, they can get fined and kicked out of the festival if they accept any other form of payment apart from the wristband. It's like
having to pay at a festival for a pint of warm piss that has been poured into a paper pint cup in advance and just been sitting there with a wristband. Like, that shit makes me so angry.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I prefer smaller festivals, because most of them don't tend to do stuff like that, and you just kind of have just the normal way, the old school way.
Yeah, cashless society. Suck a dick into the bin. Here's Splash.
Woo!
Boom. 3 for 3. The trio. Now, can you get 4 for 4?
What chocolate bar is that?
So it's discontinued at this point. The trio.
Oh, is the trio actually a chocolate bar?
Yeah. So from what I've heard. Go on then. What's the hit me with bin number 4? Can we get the Kit Kat?
Right. So this is probably a bit too specific, because some people it might be really great, but I'm very sensitive to sound, which is quite funny really, because I'm like one of those people that's like, if you make a certain noise with your mouth, I'll want to rip your head off and cry.
It's like an ADHD thing.
I assume so, yeah. I mean, I didn't know that before until I got like diagnosed, but I think, yeah, before I thought I had misophonia, but I think it's just an element of ADHD. You know, I can stick my head... No, I wouldn't stick my head in a speaker. But you know what I mean? I'll be at the front of a fucking gig that makes you shit your pants because the bass is so loud.
Yeah.
But if you accentuate a certain word in a weird way or make a certain noise on fabric, I'll want to cry.
It's like good stimulation and bad stimulation.
Yeah. ASMR literally makes me heave.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. This is why I think this is a bit of a chalk and cheese one, because it is like a bit specific. But basically... we use headsets at work, and because they are so focused on the mouth, like you can hear every single part, like when someone's talking. So when someone's doing a presentation, you can just hear every single little tiny thing. Even when I'm doing a presentation, so I often do presentations and I have to record them and like play them back to people and stuff, like because you share your training or whatever.
Right.
I get annoyed at my own voice because I'm like, nobody needs to hear the fact that I've just swallowed, or like, you know, there's certain like little tiny nuances that your mouth makes when you're talking. It genuinely gives me the ick, to the point that when people are talking in meetings sometimes who are wearing the headsets, I can't concentrate on what they're saying because I'm literally just like, ugh. And I'm somebody like headphones, great. I literally, in our big office, I will sit with noise cancelling headphones on, sometimes with no music playing, just because it's too loud and I can't concentrate. Or I need something else to concentrate, you know. But these particular headsets that capture every single, like literally you can tell if someone needs to drink a glass of water because it's like they're a bit dehydrated. Do you know what I mean?
Hear like the lips smacking.
I literally, but then I think if I say anything about that, it'll just make people will just be like, why are you being so fussy? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing that is like, I guess some people will be like, oh, I like that sound because people like ASMR.
Yeah. I get worried about that too because like I have these clip-on lav mics that I take when I'm got to do like a CBN where I don't have like a good setup or whatever, and I'm like, because I can't breathe out of my nose, and I am a man of considerable girth. That came out wrong. I'm a mouth breather.
Didn't even catch that.
Yeah, so I'm just like a mouth breather. So like you can, because the mic is like right on my chest, I can hear it when I listen back to Sebins that whenever other people are talking, you can just hear me go. And I'm just like, oh, you fucking mouth-breathing cretin, like, shut up. But I can't help it. But it's like, I have that same thing where I listen to it and I'm like, oh, God, shut up. But, yeah, as much as ASMR doesn't bother me, I can imagine if you're, like, at work and all you can hear is people's lips smacking and, like, their mouths being all dry and, like, that sounds horrible.
I just can't, I can't listen to what they're saying. It's really, and it's no one's fault because everyone does different things, but you don't normally have your mouth amplified to that degree. Even when you're speaking into a microphone at a gig or something, or, you know, on stage, whatever, you can't hear the tiny, tiny little things that your tongue's doing and things like that. Yeah. It's just really, I just can't bear it. But yeah,
I've just had a memory come back to me. Anytime like Rash has been in the studio or whatever band has been in the studio, and I'm like recording vocals, and when you have to listen back to your vocals without any music, and it's like recorded on like a fucking £2,000 microphone. Yeah. So you're just hearing like yeah, and then just like yeah. That's what I tend to do, which drives me mental.
You're like a turtle.
Yeah, like in between takes, you can hear me go.
Like wheezing.
Where like my body's just like releasing air and I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a few times where like the producer's like playing that back and I'm just like, oh God, stop.
Yeah, don't include that bit. Yeah, I do apologise as well for anyone that's had to listen to the disgusting ASMR of me coughing and breathing and wheezing, if you can hear that on the recording.
I don't think I'll get an ASMR from me coughing. Chest death rattle ASMR. But yeah. That one, yeah, like you said, this one's kind of a difficult one because it is kind of like some people are going to get bothered by that, some people just ain't. I wish I had my slow bro. I don't have a slow bro. Do you have something that could be used? Okay, we're going to flip the vinyl record of Fate here. Is this a real record?
What do you think?
No, but the watermarks keep it clean. I don't know.
I think
no, I get it.
Joke, innit?
It's a pun.
It's a coaster.
Yeah.
So, like the other one. Oh no, the other one says the same thing.
Right.
The watermarks keep it clean.
Well, I feel like a fucking idiot now.
Is this a real band?
So this is the vinyl record coaster of Fate. If it lands label side up, it's going in the bin. If it lands label side down, it does not go in the bin. Okay? It's going in the bin.
Way!
Listen for the splash. 4 for 4.
That's for my neurodivergent friends.
Hey-o! For the fam. In the club. We're all fam. Thanks for coming on, Alex.
Thank you.
Sorry, well, you came on with Creepcave, but sorry, it's taken so long to get you on your own. But
that's all right.
Do you want to remind people? I know we spoke about it at the beginning, but do you want to remind people what's coming up?
Really big one. If you're Plymouth, or even if you're not Plymouth, so we've got a big event on the 6th of December at the Nowhere Inn for our lovely dear friend Max, who is undergoing gender affirming care. So we've started a fundraiser earlier this year, and within like 24 hours raised about £1,000 towards his testosterone and various other gender-affirming medical treatment. And obviously, as people who would know about this kind of thing, it costs a lot of money. If you're on the NHS, you can be on the NHS waiting for years and years and years. So we've decided to take action, and we've put a gig on the 6th of December at the Noah Inn, and it's 4 bands. So we've got the Cynic Tones headlining, the Malefic Grip, Dizzy Missile, and my band Creepcave are playing. We're all donating our time for free for the cause, and we've got one of the most insane raffles I've ever seen in my life, which is like so many kind donations. You can donate via a link in advance, and you can donate on the day, and it's £5 a strip. So that's going to be a really good one. So look that up. It's if you put in the Cynic Tones fundraiser for Max on Facebook, you'll find it. And if not, just send me a message. If you look up Alex Lucy, I can point you in the right direction. And other than that, keep an eye out for We Are Here Festival announcements. We Are Here Festival is going to be on the 3rd of May next year. It's an all-dayer showcasing underrepresented musicians in Plymouth. All Plus Festivals has a lot going on, so we're raising money to put on an open-air festival for underrepresented genders in Plymouth. So keep an eye out on that. And keep an eye out for Dredge, my new band with my lovely friend Max, for updates, because we are trying to get gig ready. And I'm sorry for all the long update.
Yeah, that's what it's here for. Put the plug at the end.
Oh, keep an eye out for my album.
Yes.
January.
Yeah. January.
I forget my own album, but yeah,
Yeah. It's going to be really good, folks. I've been listening to the songs a lot, and they are great. But thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for being patient with me. Got a bunch of episodes coming out soon, and just happy to get back on the train. And check out the Patreon or not. Give me a shout. And love you. Bye.
Hey guys, it's me, Big Tasty. I just wanted to say cheers for listening to this week's episode, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed making it. Now, if you feel so inclined, you should come check out my Patreon page. You can sign up for as little as £1 a month, and you get weekly exclusive video tier lists and monthly mail-outs with things such as stickers and fabric patches, zines and art prints. Hey, and if you can't spare the money right now, I totally understand. No pressure. I'm going to keep making episodes regardless, but if you can support financially, it really helps the show. Just keep moving on. And then another way you can help is just to follow us on stuff like Twitter and Instagram at Seaburn Podcast, and share it around to people that you think might like this filthy shit. Anyway, love you guys, appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.